guys, welcome to our channel. Welcome to This Gathered Nest. So I did a video a few years ago. I think it was probably about 2016, and that video was our family story. Well, since then, our family story has changed a little bit. And so what I really wanted was a video where if you are new here and you're kind of like wondering what is happening, what is going on with this family, who are these people, where did all these kids come from, then I would have a video that I could send new people to. I could leave linked in my description box just to kind of explain sort of who we are, how our family came together, and like what brought us to this sort of fun, big, crazy family of 9. So that is what this video is going to be today. So if you have been following us for many years, none of this is going to be news to you. This is all going to be the same stuff that you already know. But if you are new, and especially maybe within the last year or so, then this video should help sort of explain everything and fill in any gaps that you might have in your mind about our family and sort of how we came to be. Okay, so I feel like we should probably just start at the start. My husband's name is Christopher. He goes by CR, the initials CR. We met in middle school. It was actually, I think, the very end of our 8th grade year that we met, and we were friends all through high school. In fact, I mean, at some points I would say we were probably like best friends. And then our junior year, between our junior and senior year, he left a love note on my car and sort of, you know, just sort of confessed that he was in love with me and had been for a long time. And it came as a big shock to me. I really didn't see it coming at all. But yeah, initially, if I'm just being honest, initially I got mad at him because I was like, how could you do this? We're such good friends. Like, how could you do this to our friendship? So I just felt like, wait, you're gonna ruin everything. We're such good friends. Like, you know, sometimes relationships ruin friendships. So anyways, long and short of it was we did end up dating, and we dated through the rest of high school. And then after high school was over, he was accepted to Pepperdine in California. And my parents had moved to North Carolina between my junior and senior year. So I actually finished my senior year of high school living with 2 different friends in Oregon. I lived with one the first half of the year and with another the second half of the year. And so after high school was over, I needed to go home. I needed to go live with my parents. So I came to North Carolina and started going to University of North Carolina. And yeah, I mean, when you're 18 and your boyfriend is in California and Malibu going to college, and you're in Charlotte, North Carolina, sort of truly just like hating college. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I really hated college. So we ended up breaking up. It wasn't like some big ugly breakup or anything like that. I mean, there were tears, but it wasn't like somebody cheated on somebody else or anything like that. It was just this isn't the right time for us to be together. And again, social media was not like it is today. So staying connected 3,000 miles away was hard to do. So we broke up, but we stayed friends, such good friends, in fact, that I would even like call him and talk about like, hey, I'm dating this guy and he's kind of being a jerk and I'm upset about this or whatever. And he would like talk me through it. So on the other end of that, he was in college and had sort of, at least this is what he tells me, is that he had just wasn't really dating anybody else because he just knew we were supposed to be together, and he was just sort of waiting for me to come to my senses. So we stayed friends, and sort of the Cliff Note version is that he ended up flying me back out to Oregon to visit him. We ended up getting back together, engaged very quickly after, about 2 months after that, and then married just a few months later. So we got engaged in February and then married in August. So everything, once we got back together, we're just like, yeah, we know we're meant to be together, we want to be together, and so we went ahead and got married. And then finished out his senior year of college in Oregon. And at the very end of his senior year, May, the same month he graduated, I got pregnant with Kennedy. Had no clue that hyperemesis was even a thing, but pretty much by the time I was like, I don't know, I think it was about 7 weeks pregnant, I was so sick. I was so sick. Even my coworkers at the time were like, this is not normal morning sickness. What is wrong with you? I mean, I was like in the hallway at work, hunkered in a ball in the corner, just crying and throwing up. It was not pretty. That was May, and in August of that same year, we moved back to North Carolina, and CR got a job here, and that, you know, we just kind of came back here and started our family here. Kennedy was born in January. She was born early. She was born about a month early. Like I said, I had a really rough pregnancy with her hyperemesis. I ended up with kidney problems and kidney stones, and I had to have a nephrostomy tube put in and a stent. They tried a stent, that didn't work. They put in a nephrostomy tube, and she ended up being born at 36 weeks because they needed to get her out so they could address my kidney problems. But she was healthy and just tiny little 5-pound little nugget. And yeah, so then when she was about 1, we knew we wanted more children. And so I guess I kind of thought that hyperemesis might have been a fluke and that maybe it just wouldn't happen again. So we got pregnant in January, like the same month that Kennedy turned 1, we got pregnant with Shelby. And lo and behold, I had hyperemesis again. And this time it was even a little bit worse, and I ended up pretty quickly getting a PICC line, and they sent home health out to sort of take care of me at home. I really wanted to be at home and not at the hospital, so I was kind of laid up in bed all day every day with an IV drip and getting TPN, which is like nutrition, through an IV line. It was rough. It was rough. And we had actually moved back in with my parents, and my mom was taking care of Kennedy because CR was at work, I was in bed, and my mom was taking care of Kennedy. So it was rough. So after Shelby was born in October of 2008. After she was born, and the girls' birthdays are actually kind of funny. I don't know if I've ever shared this. It's sort of cute. Kennedy's birthday is 1/10, and Shelby's birthday is 10/1. Obviously, I didn't control Kennedy's birthday. Doctors induced me, and Shelby came naturally on her own. So I just thought that was cute. They were 1/10 and 10/1. We were just kind of content for a while that maybe we might not have any more kids. We just didn't really know. I had always known since high school that I really, really wanted to adopt. And that was always something that was in the back of my mind, that like at some point we would do that. But I think a lot of people say that, like, oh, I would love to adopt, and yeah, maybe someday. You usually don't just stumble backwards into it. It's usually a conscious choice you have to make to like move forward with it. So when Shelby and Kennedy were about, I want to say maybe like 4 and 6, or maybe 3 and 5, somewhere around there, we really wanted to have more kids, and we knew right away like adoption was going to be the best route for us, and something that we really wanted to do. And it kind of just felt like, well, we've always wanted to do this, and pregnancy is really difficult for me, so let's adopt. Like, that's a great way to grow our family. So we sort of started seeking out where we felt like the best place was. We considered everything. I get asked a lot of questions about this, but we considered everything and ended up feeling very, very led to adopt from the Congo. It was a relatively new program, very small program, but we really felt like it was the right place for us to adopt from. So we started moving forward with the process of a Congo adoption. We initially thought and planned like, oh yeah, we definitely want to adopt a girl. That was what we like wrote down on our paper. And it was just funny because God was having none of that business of us trying to control every little thing. And we ended up, after a few months of waiting to be matched, we ended up getting a call about a little boy. And we were so excited. All the like preconceived notions I had about how we should adopt a girl and all of this stuff just completely went out the window. As soon as they told me about him, I didn't even see a photo of him. I just knew that he was supposed to be our son, and this was the right thing. So of course there's a lot more details about each of our adoption stories. Specifically, I have done individual videos for each of our children, and I will leave those linked down below if you would like to know sort of more information about the adoption processes and things like that. But so we adopted Noah in 2012. I flew to Congo. I stayed there for about a month, completing all the paperwork and getting everything done. It was kind of a very difficult time. We ended up bringing him safely home in August of 2012, and just a few months after bringing him home, we decided to go ahead and update our home study and get the ball rolling to get on a domestic adoption wait list to adopt a baby here in the US. We knew we wanted more kids. We really wanted to do a domestic infant adoption this time. And so we also knew the process could be long, especially because we had 3 children, and you know, the sort of ideas that you have in your head is that birth mothers only want to choose people who can't have kids or don't have kids, and that's not always true, but that's what we thought. So we figured we better start this process now because it could be years. And so we started that process, like I said, late 2012, and early 2013, But in that whole process, again, you can find out more about this in Jonah's adoption video. We did have a failed adoption in between, but Jonah, we ended up adopting him in 2013. He was born October 6th, 2013. Yeah, so we brought him home actually the day before Thanksgiving of 2013. And it was really amazing. It was just such an incredible Thanksgiving, like one of those Thanksgivings that really has so much deep meaning for us. Our whole family was there, and we were just celebrating Jonah and his life and bringing him into our family. It's a Thanksgiving that's like forever burned in my mind. So then we had 2 girls, 2 boys, and we felt pretty good about things, thought maybe we might just be done. That's like a theme of our story, is that always thinking, well, maybe we're done now. And then just kidding, no, we're not. Actually, in 2014, we decided that we really wanted to have another biological baby. And we felt like again, this is talk a lot about this in the story of the twins and in their videos, but I had done a ton of research, found that there were some other options out there for hyperemesis, and thought in working with my doctor that we'd found something that would really work for me and keep me from being that sick. So we started down the road of trying to conceive, and only to find out that it wasn't going to be as easy for us as it had been before, and that I had some fertility problems. I don't know what the technical term is, but I have crappy eggs. I have eggs of a much older woman. So sometime between having the girls and 2015, my eggs just went. We tried and tried, and in 2015, I was scrolling through Facebook one day and came across a post that a friend of mine had shared about a little girl in China who needed a family, and her name was Rosie, and she had Down syndrome, and I don't know how to explain it, but I just like knew that she was supposed to be our daughter. So I approached my husband about it. We talked about it. We ended up getting some more sort of confirming signs. Again, there's more details about that throughout my adoption videos and all of that. But we decided to go ahead and move forward with her adoption. And so that was like spring 2015. And I flew to China at the very end of 2015, actually Christmas Day of 2015, and scooped up our sweet little Rosie and brought her home. She ended up coming home January 7th was when we got back into the US. So then in 2016, we decided to jump back onto the fertility train and continued in our efforts to conceive. I just really felt this sort of gaping hole that this child was missing from our family, and I don't know how to explain it other than to say that it just felt like somebody was missing. So we continued in our efforts to conceive, and nothing worked. Late 2016, we ended up trying a cycle of IVF, and it failed. And all of the odds were in our favor, all of them. The doctors, everybody at our clinic was just shocked. It didn't just fail, like it crashed and burned. We were not gonna spend the money, try that again, do that again. We knew that was sort of God closing the door on us having any more biological children. And it was hard and it hurt, but I felt like we sort of had closure in that area. However, in all of our research and sort of figuring out what to do next, we went back and forth about, should we do another domestic infant adoption? What should we do? And I had learned about embryo adoption a few years prior. And so we kind of started looking into it. It should be said that I'm kind of a freak about research. So once I get something in my mind that I want to know more about, I can't get enough. I'm like a sponge. I've got to find out everything. And I was really excited by what I found out about embryo adoption. It was just amazing, and I had no idea that this was even a thing, and that there's like over 600,000 embryos on ice just sort of waiting to be given a chance at life. And so we decided to go ahead and go down that route. We ended up being matched, and this all happened very quickly, very quickly. We ended up being matched with a set of 2 embryos, which was exactly what we kind of were hoping for. Again, there's a lot more detail about this in my specific videos about Ivy and Amelia. Yeah, so we went through with the embryo transfer, and much to our shock, we ended up finding out I was about 5 weeks and a few days, and I was so sick. So sick. I woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, was on the bathroom floor, could not get off the bathroom floor. It was not good. And we went into the doctor that day, and they did an ultrasound, and we're like, yeah, there's 2 of them in there. So I started another journey with hyperemesis that sadly all of the research, all the work my doctor and I had done to prepare my body and the steps we had taken to hopefully keep me from getting that sick did not work. They all sort of failed miserably, and I ended up in the hospital with a PICC line again and TPN and lots of different medications just trying to sort of keep me alive and keep me going. So it wasn't the outcome that we had wanted, obviously, but both babies were doing great and obviously ended up growing, developing, and they were born July 28th, so they are about to turn 1 year old, and I cannot believe it. I just cannot believe it, but they ended up being born at 36 weeks 36 weeks and 1 day. Yes, 36 weeks and 1 day technically, because they were born Friday at like 1 o'clock in the morning, even though they were basically 36 weeks. And they were tiny, tiny little nuggets, but healthy, and they got to come home with us, and that was amazing. And so yeah, now that kind of brings us to here. They are almost 1 year old. So now, if you were watching this in July of 2018, then Kennedy is 11, Shelby is 9, Rosie is about to turn 7, Noah is about to turn 7, Jonah is 4, and the twins are about to turn 1. So that sort of brings you to now and where we're at with our family. We get asked a lot if our family is done, if our family is complete. And I will say that Christopher and I both do feel a sense of, we don't have any of those feelings of like somebody's missing or anything like that. At this time, we don't feel that way. We just believe that if God has another child for our family, we would never say no to that. So I can't say with 100% certainty that this is it and we'll never have any more kids, but we're not seeking anything out right now. So hopefully that answers that question, because I know we get that question a lot. But so that is kind of our family story, and that's sort of how we got to this place of 7 kids. And if you would have told me when I was 14 years old or 15 years old that I was gonna have 7 kids and 5 of them would be adopted, I don't know that I would have believed you. But I also cannot imagine my life any other way. And I can't imagine that I could have missed out on this if I would have let fear or money or the voices of other people who, naysayers, you know, people who said you shouldn't do that. And I mean, I could go back and tell you 100 instances of people who tried to tell me not to do something related to one of our children. And I could have missed out on this. I could have missed out on these kids if I would have listened. I, for one, am quite thankful and grateful to have the life that we do and the family that we do. It is messy and beautiful. Like I said, it's never lost on me that adoption is born out of loss. So because of that loss, I have the family that I do. So that's always something that I hold with sort of an open hand, and really try to respect the fact that, like I said, if we lived in a perfect world, our family wouldn't look like it does right now, because these children wouldn't have had a need for a second family or anything like that. So all of that to say, I'm incredibly grateful. I feel incredibly lucky to have the family that we have, and I'm grateful to so many of you for watching our channel, for supporting us, and for loving our kids and loving our family like you're a part of it too. And that really means a lot to us, that many of you feel like you know us and that you're a part of our family, and we love that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm starting to get sappy. It's gonna get out of control. So thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to our channel if you're not already. And again, all of the other videos that I've done that sort of explain more in depth our different adoptions and the twins and the embryo adoption, all of those I will leave down below in the description box if you want to check them out. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys again really soon. Bye.